They're both part of my group, so hopefully they do fantastically amazing today. Um, we have a bit of an interesting situation on the boards right now where I believe, let me just confirm, yeah, Mark is currently in the lead with 2 wins out of his 2 races. And Tief has 1 win and 1 loss. However, if Tief does win this particular race, then that will mean that the other 3 people in my group, other than myself, will each have 2 wins and 1 loss. So that will definitely bring the tiebreaker situation into play. So we'll definitely see how nice Pazuzu and other such jerkbirds are to both of our racers. For now, though, we are doing the oh so beautiful intro. And what happens here is we have the fight right off the go with this behemoth, and unfortunately it is nothing but RNG, random number generator. So what we ideally want is no misses and critical, or no misses for our Benjamin character, and we actually want crits from him. Yeah, and we don't want any crits from the behemoth. And both of them got through fine, though Tief did get a crit, putting him ahead for now. But it is entirely possible and sadly likely to die at that intro fight, because Mystic Quest just really wanted to set the tone for how your entire game and run is going to be. So they start off strong. First thing here is they have to stop into the level forest and save this old man. You saw they passed another old man in a brown cloak on a little floating cloud. We try to avoid talking with him as much as humanly possible because he just wastes our time. We don't have time to talk to him. So wherever possible that we don't need him to trigger plot, we just skip him completely, as you saw both of them do in the forest. Instead, once we got the tree wither from the old man, we went into Foresta in order to talk to Kaylee. As we have heard, I believe that she can talk to plants or something, or we just figured it out. So she joins your party and helps. And one thing that they both made sure to get before leaving was the cure spell. The first boss that the second boss that they are going to fight actually has a weakness to cure, so it's definitely not something they want to skip. Both runners choosing to change their display to numbers rather than the scale. Almost everyone finds that much nicer to deal with, as the bars are just trying to interpret how much HP you have. It's no fun. Numbers are much easier, though there are some runners who stick with it, so personal preference. It doesn't actually change the speed of the run, but numbers are great. But nobody died to the RNG of the Minotaur at the beginning, the behemoth at the beginning, so RNG's okay. Yeah, this game really comes down a lot to how much the game likes you. Much more. All RPGs, or a lot of RPGs, have that kind of that RNG part to them, but Mystic Quest is really badly so. Now, first off, we have Tief, who has made it to the Minotaur, and he's weak to the life spell, so it's a really easy fight as long as you don't miss with life, or Kaylee gets killed or something at the beginning. You just use her to life this Minotaur, and bam, you're ready to go to continue on. And you saw exactly what I said happening to Mark. Unfortunately, life can just miss because Mystic Quest. So, but he did get the Minotaur down, and so they are both off. Poor Kaylee has been poisoned. It's kind of a thing she does. She's a bit of a sickly person, though she loves to talk to trees. And so we're off to get a cure for her because we're nice people like that. And I don't know, maybe she can talk to more trees to help things. So when we get to the cave where we hear the elixir is, who's waiting for us but this dude Tristram, who's just like, no, I think I'm gonna keep this, but I hear there's a better treasure in this bone castle, so you come with me, help me get that treasure, I'll give you the elixir. And Benjamin's like, you're an absolute jerk, but I have no choice, so away we go, bone dungeon. So if you haven't already noticed, unlike a lot of RPGs where it's random encounters and you just have to run from them, in Mystic Quest they are all on the map. So you know in advance exactly which monsters, which encounters you're going to be fighting, like their location. What we don't know is exactly what monster encounter pack that will be. In the Bone Dungeon, we want the smaller encounter packs because it's faster to get through them and they're easier to kill. We do want enough experience to be level 4 by the time we hit the boss of the dungeon, but yeah, otherwise we want smaller encounter packs, and we'll at times even run to change and get better encounter packs. So basically you'll see that happening for the 3 packs. Tristan was very kind and sold us the bombs we needed to progress, even though he needs us to progress too. Not a very nice dude. So we see here Mark has a pack of 3 of skeletons, so he just automatically ran because the amount of time it would take him to go through that, not even worth it. So instead he got the 1 pack and away he went. Something you're going to notice pretty consistently through these runs is that your partner can either be on auto or on manual, and as much as we can, depending on the partner, we want to leave them on auto because generally it's just easier. You don't have to think about what you're going to do with them, and depending on the partner and where you are, they're going to make the right choice anyways. But when you have someone like Phoebe, a later partner who can attack multiple parties, like multiple enemies with spells, then you start controlling them a little more manually because otherwise they won't attack multiple packs of enemies all at once unless you tell them to. So just a little quirk of the enemy AI, or the partner AI. So for right now, they're not too far from each other. They have to bomb these little skeletons to go different places. And at the beginning, you saw that there was a brown chest that both of them purposely avoided. That was for specific inventory management and manipulation that we're going to be doing later as part of a major glitch of this run. So the first item they both wanted to have in their inventory were those seeds, which they have both now picked up. And something else that they're going to want to do is they're going to want to do an item manipulation, an item duplication glitch for those seeds, because there's a certain amount of the seeds they're going to want for the run in general. So, but what they're going to do is they're going to set their partner on manual. They're going to use the seed, and once it gets to Tristram's turn, they're going to back all the way out and they're going to run. What this does is it causes a 1 item duplication. Yes, for that. And by doing that, for a few battles, especially if they get bad encounter packs they were going to run from anyways, they can get the seeds they need to replenish their magic. Mark picking up Quake. It's not necessary to pick up the Quake spell for this run, but it is an excellent backup, especially for this particular boss. It can really help if you run out of the Cure spell, which is what he is weak against. Now, the big thing in these boss battles that they want to keep in mind throughout the entire game is that all of your partners come with the life spell, but at no point during the run will you be picking up the life spell. So the only way to bring someone back to life is through your partner. So if your partner dies, things are not very good at all. So they tend to have more HP than your Benjamin. So what you just have to kind of keep in mind is just keep an eye on their health the whole time, and if they get to half HP or less, you are going to want to cure them. Otherwise, sticking them on auto in order to cure or life Benjamin every time he dies is very helpful. Now, not only does your partner have more HP than Benjamin, both of these runners, before they started the run, did what's called the resistance glitch. And what that involves is having a save right at the end where you have your final partner, Phoebe, for the second time on your way into Doom Castle. By loading up that save and then immediately just resetting, just doing a soft reset, and then starting a new game, you assure that your partner for the rest of the run will have this the same resistances as your final partner, which makes them much more overpowered defensively wise than they should. The best way to see whether your resistance glitch is in place or whether it worked is simply just to go into your status menu during the just regular menu outside of battle and see if they have all these weird elemental resistances. Both of them are on the last round, and playing it. Tief is playing it a little dangerous. Tristram's low, but managing to make it through. Mark did make it through the battle before him. So, good fights. Nobody had to restart. Part of the system of Mystic Quest is that if you die to any battle whatsoever, you automatically get a chance to just restart at the beginning of the battle. And you can do this infinitely. So, you don't have to worry about safety saves and things like that for these runs. So, it turns out Tristram gets the cool item he wants. He gives you the elixir, and he you guys got the crystal, which was trapped by this particular boss that it was using to get stronger, and now that element has been restored to this area or the world in general. Both runners making sure to pick up the sky coin to the left, or sorry, to the right, as they're going to need that to progress. If anyone forgets their particular coin from most of the areas, it requires them to walk all the way back to get it again. So, in this first place, it's not often that the coin is forgotten, but in one of the later dungeons, it is something which can happen. So you just got to make sure, don't forget your coin. You need that. You cannot progress without it in most cases. We'll talk about the cases where you don't need it as they come up. But for right now, they are doing the walkout. Any of those sort of quicksands, which were running in the opposite direction last time, are now in your favors, making it much quicker to get out. But unlike when you entered, these runners now have bombs. So you see, rather than crossing over those turtle shells the way they came in, Mark and soon Tief both bomb that skeleton that's in the way in order to get the steel shield, which adds a bit of extra defense and some extra resistances for Benjamin. Usually, the way I knew the particular strat to be is that chest you initially jumped over at the very beginning has cure potions in it. So that's the next item you want for your inventory maintenance, like the specific manipulation for the glitch later. But it turns out, and I didn't know this, that the bottom brown chest in the bone dungeon next to the boss actually has cure potions there. So if you get them right there, you don't have to get them on the way out. I don't know if it's particularly faster, as you have to go both ways anyways, but if you're someone like me who's going to the left to pick up the top chest, which is more explosives, might as well get it while you're there. So quick stop back in Foresta in order to give that elixir to Kaylee, who is just like, I'm great now. You should go talk to Spencer. He's an old dude who has tons of info. Go do it. So thankfully, there's a little shortcut in that area, so we don't have to walk all the way around. And Old Man, we don't talk to Old Man. We don't have time to talk to Old Man. So, both of them picking up the explosives there. Any brown chests automatically refill every time you go past them, and that particular one will always have explosives, which you generally really need. So, especially for after this particular section of the run. So you're going to see them picking them up where you can. Neither picked up the fire spell, which can be gotten on your way out of Focus Tower there. But again, not necessary, just a bit of safety. And heading into the Libra Cave, where after picking up some extra explosives, they both pick up their next partner, Phoebe, who is arguably, or really not arguably, it's almost fact, the best partner in the game. She has not only a lot of magic, but really very quite strong magic, and her AI tends to be quite good. So she is someone that we always enjoy having in our party, and she's our final partner later on. So bonus to having Phoebe. Right now, she comes with a claw, which is going to be useful for some climbing, but we don't have that yet. In a plot sequence, we're going to see in about 5 minutes or less, she's going to give us that claw. And the weapon she has afterwards, the Bow of Grace, is honestly a much better weapon for her. She does better with it, and she tends to attack. So in this particular section, unless there are different types of enemies in the battle, we often leave Phoebe on auto, as she has fire, and she's just going to auto full party fire on the enemies. So this place tends to be a bit of an easy walk for a lot of the encounters. Now, these worms are an exception. She will not attack correctly to the weaknesses of these worms if you leave her on manual. And so either, if you have Quake, you want to use Quake with Benjamin and have her defend, if there's two like there were for Mark, or they are weak to lightning, thunder, which Phoebe has, so you can use that instead. But again, you need her on manual in order to fully target everyone, as there's two different parties. Plot had you fall down, and Phoebe saves herself and leaves you to die. Thankfully, you didn't die, and so she gives you the cat claw. So you now too can climb ice walls, which the game uses great use of, both in this particular cave and in later sessions. All of the weapons and the armors that you can get in this game at least at this point, all have upgrades, different versions you can get. How many upgrades depends on whether it's a weapon or a particular armor. So we do, because we're doing an any percent speed run, we do not pick up all of those items. But the claw is one of the items that we do get an upgrade for later on. And spoiler, it's that claw that we let Tristram have in order to get the elixir. So that shiny claw will eventually be ours. But for now, we get our little cat claw. Bombs, of course, will continue to be put into good use when Phoebe doesn't just automatically destroy everything with bombs. Now, Mark is fighting against 3 sandworms, which is not a very nice encounter. You want to get one of those sandworms down before you attack, if possible. As you can't just kill them all with that multi-party spell. The claw always wins, friendly triangle. The claw always wins. So in that case, we had Phoebe attack manually with the Bow of Grace and used Quake on the dudes, and everything was hunky dory. So for now, you're going to see a lot of repeat of Phoebe on auto attacking everyone. These Minotaurs or Centaurs are another one that you need to kind of manually attack, and really like to confuse you a whole bunch if you don't get them all down at once. So that's as you can see happening right now on Tief's stream. It's not very fun at all. Confusion is a pain in the butt, especially when it's your partner. But you tend to manage. You don't deal much with the status effects. Unless it's something really bad, like if Phoebe gets blinded in an area where we need her to physical attack, then we're going to go and we're going to make sure to cure her. But otherwise, a lot of the time we just ignore it. But we do get the heal spell in the next dungeon, so that helps. But for now, let's kill all the dudes. So we are already on the bottom floor with Mark. The reason they are in this cave is Phoebe is trying to get to her grandfather, which is the same man you came looking for, Spencer, who is trapped under her house because everything froze, and apparently it's a cool thing to let your granddad live under the house in a cave with the water. We just don't question the choices that people in this game make, or in video games in general, really. So she's looking for something to unfreeze the water to get to her grandfather, and she hears the cave you found her in, the Libra cave. She hears that there's a spring there, which will unfreeze things, but they need the Libra crest in order to travel to the spring. So they are in this particular area to get the Libra crest, but as you will see soon, once they finish fighting these monsters up the way to get there, there's a guy who stole it first, because I don't know. Apparently bosses, especially octopuses, need crests. So we'll figure out what happens here. Or not. So we don't get that chest, we don't need it. But this guy, we need to take out this guy. So whenever you get a boss which comes with allies like this one has, the strategy is always to take care of the partners first, because they just tend to make a nuisance of themselves, doing extra damage and such. So we're using bombs and thunder, as they're both weak to that. And then once the Sparnas are both dead, we move forward to both the bow and bombs, because they are just the best items. But you need to put Phoebe on manual for this, because otherwise she will, I believe she uses thunder, of which she has less, and does less damage than just attacking with the Bow of Grace. Every time a partner dies, the best thing for you to do, or not a partner, Benjamin dies, just put your partner on auto. They will guaranteed, unless they die in the meantime, life your partner, or life Benjamin. So is much quicker and easier than telling them to do it manually. Mark, the first one out of the Squidite boss, picking up the Libra crest and having to walk right out. But the beauty of just knowing where all the enemies are on the map, you know, unless there's something specific you need on the way back, you're not gonna have to fight anything, so you just have a nice stroll. Yeah, Couch, it's Natara commentary. Welcome. Friendly Triangle, I like your jokes. Keep bringing all of the puns, they're beautiful. You have a pun-loving commentator here today, so bring them all! Bring them on. Oh man. So, we can't go exactly the way we came, because of course we fell down and they can't make it too easy for us, but just to the left, or sorry, just to the right is somewhere we can come back up. So away we go, walking along. And how are you guys today? Are you also having wonderful walks? Getting the wonderful RNG that, you know, Mr. Crest likes to bring you? Oh man, punishment? There's nothing but punishment here today. What's Benjamin's least favorite sandwich? A Reuben! I know the joke that much. So now that they have the Libra quest, they go to the Spring of Life, which... Oh no! It's done! Look, when even Feasel's in on the jokes, guys. Keep it up. We're having all the jokes today. Oh, get an umbrella unless you have wind. That doesn't makes things sad. So they walk in, and since they have the Libra crest, they're able to check for the spring, and it's totally dried up. But they see, hey, there's the old man's there. Unfortunately, we do have to talk to him. So he gives you the wake water, and you're like, okay, I got this water. We're ready. And thankfully for Phoebe, this one little tiny plant gets defrosted. So I'm not quite sure what she expected from like a little tiny jar of this wake water, but it is not the super miraculous item we hoped, and we need to proceed upwards to fight the boss, who is currently draining the current crystal. But first, we have to go through this cave, and you get to see some a fun skip coming up here. It's not a glitch, because we're using everything that was given to us, but I don't think the developers intended to have us skip basically a solid third of this place by specially placing the blocks. So what is intended is lots of block puzzles, sliding these ice blocks around so you can jump and get to new areas. And we're going to take advantage of them. Yeah, these jokes are a bit Lamia. Yeah, winter's not coming, guys. Winter's here. No, so far there are no player falls to the boss. We are going to keep that up, yeah. Also, this crab coming up, who is the next boss, is my favorite. I'll let you guys figure out why, but yeah, he's pretty cool. So, in order to get to these blocks, the second block in here there's Lamias in front of both of them. So we kill the Lamias, of course, manually again, because it's a different party, and because it's just one of those things with Lamias. And first we push the first Lamia block so we can get to the second area, and now Now we're doing a skip. So if you put the 3 blocks we have been provided in these very specific spots, you're seeing Mark and shortly Tief doing, you can skip right to the boss. Because we ain't got time for exploring, and there's nothing else in here that we need. So we're gonna go back up and jump. Yeah, Benjamin is the bomb. Because he's got bombs. What? So, but we're not gonna go straight to the boss, because this chest here has heal, which is incredibly useful. So it looks like both of these guys have just duped the fewest amount of seeds that they possibly can, which, as long as they don't need them, is fine. And thankfully, if they do need more seeds, they can just duplicate more. It takes a bit more time, but less time than if they need them and don't have them. So Snow Crab here, of course, first taking off his cronies, getting rid of them. And if they had picked up fire, the strategy for this fight would be for both of them to cast fire. Instead, Phoebe, I believe, is still going to use fire, and Benjamin is just going to manually attack. You have a choice between Axe and Bomb here for that. Axe does more damage, but it has a chance to miss. So, while bombs don't. So you kind of have to pick and choose whether you want to risk those misses with the axe or whether you want more damage. So Mark has actually both of them have chosen to go with the axe, and of course Phoebe is using thunder. Okay, sorry, no, it's not fire. Fire. Both of them doing fire is on the next boss. So Phoebe also sees that once you're done the boss, the next path is your regular bombs are just not going to handle it, so she gives you jumbo bombs. But she's also nice, so she just gives them to you, unlike Tristram, who sold them to you like a jerk. Also, guys, the chat is making me so happy right now. I can't even, literally, everything everyone is saying is a pun, and I can't even. So, next item that we're picking up are those refreshers from Mark. They are item number 3 needed for the upcoming skip with using the inventory glitch. Now, you're going to see it on Mark's screen. It looks like he just got a random encounter because you don't see any enemies, but he's fighting someone. What is actually the case is all of the enemies in here are invisible, and had he gone to the right area of the dungeon, there is a mirror that you pick up where it allows you to see everything, but the monsters don't move. They are in a static place no matter where they go, so we don't need to see where they are. We know where they are. So you guys may not see the enemies, but both of our runners know exactly where they are and are going to be fighting what they have to. So, and again, skipping what they don't need. This is any percent. This isn't 100%. We ain't got time for 100%. So, curing up where necessary. One thing about having your partner on auto is that they also keep an eye on your status and health. And if either you or their HP is too low or you're in some sort of status, they're going to cure you rather than doing what you want them to do of attacking. So often it is just much faster and safer to cure up in between battles once they get about half HP. I know, this is something totally new! Yeah, if you keep saying no to Tristram, he does lower his price. I'm not sure what the minimum is, because he starts at 50. I know if you say no once, I think he lowers it to 30, so 15 might be the third time. Or if you say no to him twice. But we ain't got time for that, and we're barely spending our money on anything anyway, so take your 50 gold. Be rich, sir. Give me my bombs. There's a volcano in this game? Guys, I think you must be hallucinating something, because I've never heard of any volcano in this game. Okay, it's 30 and then 15. Well, that's still better. Slightly. What a ripoff. Tristram, no! I can't see them. So great. So, of course, one of the mechanics of this current dungeon that they're in is, other than the invisible enemies, which is just a thing, is there are lots of switches and doors which are in the way. So they are also purposely navigating to the particular switches that they need to hit, which are done with the sword which you have, because Mystic Quest can be a bit clever by times. And then it allows you to continue on your path to get where you're going. So sometimes it's going to look like they're going off the path, but it's actually because they need those switches. So we're going to stab those black statues. The green statues are just regular. They're not switches. They're just there for decorations. But if you see that kind of bluey black with glowy eyes, it's blocking something. But we also don't want to hit all of those. Also, I think we've seen it previously, but first time I've particularly noting every boss that you fight, or most bosses, especially the mini bosses that you fight in this game, all come back as enemies later, because reusing enemies sprites is the thing to do. Saving a bit of time here. Yeah, if only. So the Stony Roofs and the Mage are one of those battles which is just really annoying, because the mages can cure, and you don't have anything which can just take care of all of those guys in one turn. So you have a chance of being confused by the mages, or turned to stone by the Stony Roofs. The mages can cure themselves, so they just generally make a nuisance of themselves. Yep, it is an RPG tradition. Hey, Freezer Crab, welcome back. We missed you so much, we brought you back. And something else you're going to notice, which I'm sure you've all noticed before, is a really cool thing that I really love, other than the music, which is fantastic in this game, is the enemy sprites all kind of change and get modified, depending on how much damage an enemy has taken. So, how powerful the monster is, or like whether it's a regular monster or a boss of some sort, kind of denotes how many phases of change they'll have. Like, as an enemy, the Freezer Crab just has those 2 phases, but he had like 3 or 4 as a boss. So, I definitely really like that. Keyboarding is hard, man. Like, I can't even. You need special skills for that. I need to pump more experience points into mine. Especially when autocorrect gets involved, whew, then you just have nobody can type then. So you're going to see them fighting a lot of the same things, and sometimes they're going to get lucky, they're going to get better encounter packs than their partner, and sometimes they're going to get incredibly unlucky and die, even though it's just a regular encounter. Like, Tief had no problems there. He was petrified, his partner was petrified, and Benjamin was a lower health, but he went before the enemy did, so he was able to kill them. Everything was wonderful. Yeah, shout out to casual Pazuzu. Just don't even Pazuzu. Pazuzu is just mean in every iteration, especially the speedrun, though. He's just not a very nice dude. But we'll get into Pazuzu and his sadness and tears when it's time. We're not going to bring that unhappiness in us later. Pazuzu flips everyone the bird. Figuratively, literally, puntastically, sobbingly. Sob. Except for, I think there was a race, like, within the last couple days where both of them got floor 6, which is amazing. Plus, out of 3 of my races, 2 of them were floor 6. 2! They're the only floor 6s I've had. Anyways, we'll bring back Pazuzu and his wonderful stuff, yeah. Nobody loves Pazuzu. And everyone especially hates Zoo. I don't buy into calling him Zuh. He's Zoo forevermore. That H, it's a lie. Oh no! Mark fell down! So, you do note there is no wall there, so that is able to fall down. But thankfully, Mark did want to fall down. The easiest way to get in that room is to just fall down, and we get our last item required for the duplication, which is the heal potions, and then we hit the switch we need to get out, and he is going to make his way around so he can pick up the treasure chest, which contains something cool. I think it's armor. Oh, that guy ruffles all of our feathers. Not before we ruffle his! So, jerkbird. He is the very definition of a jerk bird. So, yeah, it's the noble armor. So again, we don't pick up a lot of different armors and weapons here. We basically only pick up what's necessary or that's really particularly good. So since we had to be here to pick up our heal potions anyways, might as well get our get those. So now they have to, Mark is going to have to be a little more careful because we have certainly had runners fall off this area in multiple different races, and that's where you start losing time. Yeah, being a big boss, he gets so... Actually, I think Pazuzu only has 3. Though he has 3 different forms, but he also has his special... He gets an animation, because he's a cool dude. Shout out to your friend Jennifer, too! She's one of the millions of 80s kids who has the same name as literally every other female. I definitely don't feel her pain or anything. Anyways, I'm sorry for you. Most of my friends play tabletop. Anyways, so once Mark got to the end of that path, he was able to bomb through the floor and once again purposely fall down and hit a switch to fall down, continue falling down, and get this new sword, the Knight Sword. It is the last sword upgrade that we are going to get, and it is definitely really useful because it is a good weapon, and we can still stab things with it just like we could our little piddly sword that we started with, so bonus! So he is heading to his last couple of battles of this particular area before he fights the big bad. Yeah, tabletop games are great. I love all games, and whichever one I'm playing the least of is the one I'm like, people, play with me, game with me. But for now, they'll continue on. Do we have... I bet we have cool commands here, and I don't know what they are. That's unfortunate. Let's see if this one works. We're gonna command runners. Oh yeah, it worked! Yeah, make sure to follow our runners. They're both cool dudes who I raced against, and they were both really awesome. So I'm rooting for both of them, by the way. Hey, everyone's friends are special, and you like what you like. You know what I don't like? These manticores, or whatever they're called in that particular iteration. They're really scary. You can kill them with life or fire, or exit once you get it, but they're really mean, and you'll see that very much so in Pazuzu's tower. Mark has kind of cleared the gauntlet here, and now gets to do the beautiful jumping path to the boss. I didn't know you could just jump all the way across that when I first started this run, so I'd walk around, and RPG Chick, being the wonderful person she was, she's like, honey, you know you can jump there, right? And I was like, oh my god, the most high-tech of tech! Movement tech. Yes, sphinxes. Oh, man. Oh, thanks, Speezel. I know that one too. Okay, so that's the same too. Yes. I do want to note that's not my Twitch, though. I am twitch.tv Natara Zeviana, if you want to follow me. So, boss! Ice Golem. He's the next guy who has a crystal. And, if you have both of your people having fire, your strategy for this guy is, just doing that. Hey, Fizzle, that is not your fault. Just to explain the confusion, I just go by Natara in Discord, so everyone gets mixed up with my Twitch. So yeah, they just are going to use fire, and I believe when Benjamin doesn't have fire, he just uses bombs, because bombs are the bomb! I mean, what? Okay, it's my turn for a pun. I can't let you guys have all the fun. No man, the ice golem's just having, he's a little too hot to handle. He can't handle this heat. It's summer, dude. Gotta enjoy the heat. It'll be winter soon enough. Speaking of which, Game of Thrones? Yeah, speaking of winter coming. So our boss would like that a lot more. So instead, One thing that this boss likes to do is one of his attacks will actually hurt both of you. I think this is the very one, and will cure himself. So if you're stuck in kind of a loop where you're really trying to cure yourself, and he's doing that a bunch, he can reverse back up to one of the previous stages if he recovers enough HP. You're seeing on Tief's screen exactly why these Sphinxes are jerks. They've just both confused him, and it's very, very not. Ain't no one got a short fuse like Natara got a short fuse. Anyways, this chest here, now that Mark has done the boss, it also contains a coin. Do not drop down without picking up the coin. You will have to walk back, and you will hate yourself forever. So Tief knew after that Sphinx battle that he was able to go and pick up the intriguing. He was able to go and cure right away because he knew he was going to have no more encounters before the boss. Mark taking the quick way out, popping down, jumping down both of those kind of platforms, and now he just gets to walk out. As long as he, again, doesn't walk somewhere he didn't walk before and encounters invisible enemies. So let's see how Tief does, because again, all of these bosses can do some incredibly not fun things, and by doing that, it can cause you to die and have to restart. So it can happen on any boss, no matter how good you are. It's just the better you are and the better you know your strategies, the easier it is to potentially recover and to know when you need to recover. So this little area that Mark's going through right now, each of those little four corners of that kind of block there all have an enemy in front of them. So if you walk a little funny on the way out, you could fight something. So these two chests, the one on the left that you didn't open, you right now need at least 10 bombs for the next thing you're going to do. So if you happen to have used them up and did not have enough when you're leaving here, that left chest has bombs. So it does not have bombs while you have Phoebe in it, though. While you have a partner that has arrows, which you don't need more arrows. She's going to refill while she's gone. She's using magic anyway. So Mark has walked up to and is now doing a battlefield. You see that he just bombed that bombed the dude, the Fanquid, and that's exactly what we want. We want the encounters that just have one Fanquid because it just takes one bomb and he dies. So he has to fight 10 battles here, and if he gets one like he did now with a Sphinx and a Fanquid, the strategy here is to run because it just takes way too much time to try and deal with the Sphinx at the same time. Plus, there's actual death chances. Tief getting through the boss. I did not see a restart there, so he's good to go. He just needs to pick up that coin and proceed as well to the battlefield. Now, all the other battlefields in this game, which are there for leveling, and they give you cool items at the end, or like extra experience at the end for completing them. And he is, we want the extra item here at the end, which is the only reason why we're fighting this battlefield, and it's the only one we fight, because while there's cool items in the rest of them, they're not ones we need. And the item that both of them are going to be getting from this battlefield, both once Mark is done and once Tief gets there, is they're going to be getting the exit spell, which is amazing. Not only can you warp out of places when you're done to save all this walking out, which is silly, but you can use it on enemies to just get rid of them, which you're going to see us abuse heavily in sections. So again, how lucky and how well this battlefield goes really just depends on how many Sphinx battles that he gets in there and has to run from, because he has to do 10. So he's got 3 left, so far not bad. Because he has no, he just doesn't take damage from these Fanquids. They're just not a problem at all. But yes, only battlefield. Tief is on his way out. He is going to have to pick up that chest on the way out, as I mentioned, as he has only 7 bombs. And again, there are 10 battles you fight in that battlefield, so you must have at least 10 bombs on your way out. So he's got it. It's wonderful. I seem to think there is a Mystic Quest randomizer. I've heard people talking about Mystic Quest Rando before. I don't think it's readily played, though. We'll see. So Mark, he picked up his exit, so he is back into Focus Tower to continue on to the really cool part of the run, which I really like, which is that glitch, the big glitch we have been setting up for a while. But first, he has to once again ignore the old man and push that block into place so he can make it to the new area. Couch. Oh my god, those puns. I love them. Okay, so now that we're back into Focus Tower, we've moved the block, so we had to walk around, so we leave the way we came in. Yeah, Mark choosing to pick up more explosives, using the coin that neither of them forgot to pick up, and heading out to our next area. The very mythical and very incredibly short fire area. Yeah, there's no old man in this. I don't know what you're talking about. We talked to some old dude like twice, and I don't know what's up with him. He's a bit weird. So one big thing you need to know about this item glitch that we're doing, inventory glitch, is specific items need to be in very specific places, so you do not want to be picking up random chests of things along the way. You need to know what's in the chests you need, and there are backups for things here. So, Mark just bought 0 seeds because he purposely used up all of his seeds. He bought 0. By using 1, it underflowed and brought it to 99. And then once that messed up, that gave him like a cool item, which was like 3 sky coins, where the cure potion should have been. A bit odd, but whatever. And then what he did is he bought specifically 19 cure potions from the old lady to overwrite that spot. And by doing that, it glitched the next coin into his inventory, which is the fire coin. And with that, we're done. We don't need to do the fire. What fire area? There's a cool town with some funky music, and we're out. We're not. So this volcano people talked about? Don't know what you guys are talking about. Yeah, bad puns are the best puns, guys. They are literally the best. So, one consequence of doing this glitch is that everything is cloudy. Oh, hey, dude! Our partner, which we didn't have, just fell down. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm sorry for him. He just kind of fell. Yeah, that glitch is lit. So with the glitch, the amount of items you have doesn't matter, just their specific order, where they're located. So we walk into this bridge specifically to lose the partner, which we didn't get, because the game, it doesn't know we didn't do fire area. And cool music starts playing, so we know, of course, our bestie Tristram is showing up. We don't need to save that other dude. Well, who's he? I don't know. We leave. And immediately exit because walking's for chumps. So we are heading to we're in the level forest here. We need to go in the tree. It is blocking our way, and we need to get to the future area, which we would see if everything was in clouds. Clouds everywhere. So you see that he is using exit on these enemies because Tristram, unlike usual, like the partners tend to be pretty useful, Tristram is not particularly effective against these enemies here in the level forest. So best thing to do is he can be on auto for certain battles like this one he could have, but we want to exit as much as possible because these guys are problematic, and a lot of them I think they petrify. It's really not cool at all. Yeah, any glitch that skips the volcano. So the fire area is actually really annoying and pretty incredibly difficult. So, which is one of the reasons we're very happy to glitch it away. And we don't care about clouds. Again, it's like with the invisible enemies. We know where everything is, so we don't need to see anything. The alive forest, right? The level forest was the first one. They're all forests. What's the diff? But yes, the alive forest, because it's alive! So, this tree is not very happy, and we asked it... I don't even think we asked it nicely. We just tried to talk to it, and it ignored us, because, you know, why? And we remember that, Kaylee, she can talk to trees. She's done it. It's kind of her thing. And she should be in Aquaria, so back we go to go get Kaylee. Why is she in Aquaria? I believe plot-wise she is looking for her father. So, Mark, picking up more of those explosives, very useful. And here's the end of Reuben II. We don't need no Reuben. We get sandwiches elsewhere. Yeah, we need our Kaylee, man. Kaylee! She's no Phoebe, but she's pretty awesome, too. Both of our runners actually having a good time with that mummy exiting. He can be a bit of a jerk. He can just petrify you before you have a chance. And now that you're back, you're in Aquaria. You see everything's all nice and pretty in a way you didn't. So that Spencer guy you came all this way to see, you ignored him. You didn't actually need to see him. So we're going back to see him now. We can get and see. This is where he lives. Like, how nice is... That was very weird. I got disconnected. But I'm back, guys! Don't worry about it. Something tried to connect from a different location, which is silly. So we go to visit Spencer, who lives in a cave. I don't know if he lives here or whether he just, like, hangs out in the cave but got trapped when everything went bad. And Tristan's like, yeah, no, we don't need to do anything. Bye. And he leaves. You barely have him, and he's out. And you're like, dude, you guys are supposed to help me here. And he's like, okay, cool, have a claw. Bye. I'm gonna go hang out with my bro Spencer here. So you're like, I don't care. I got the claw. I'm pretty sure Spencer is Phoebe's grandfather, but yes, okay, so he is building a tunnel trying to save him. Yeah, I knew he was looking for Captain Max. So, in one of the only bad decisions or awful things that Phoebe does at all, she decides to play with explosives down in a cave and somehow doesn't think it's going to go poorly, and blocks you from ever going back into Spencer's place because Phoebe, why? We love you, but Phoebe, why? And because we don't like walking, we teleport right out. We don't need Tristram, and we get awesome Kaylee back, who apparently she was sick again. She talks to trees and she's sick. It's kind of her thing. But she's fine now. She's okay. No problem. So you pick her up and head all the way back to that tree. We're gonna make a bit of a detour though on the way. Spencer allowance, guys, you're beautiful. Yeah, she might be the ex-girlfriend, but Phoebe is the true waifu. Give me your opinions in chat, guys. Who is the ultimate waifu of Ben? Is it Kaylee? Is it Phoebe? Give me your reasons. They don't even have to be good reasons. They don't have to be anything but puns. But give me your reasons. I want to hear it. So, now that we have Kaylee, we're taking a slight detour into Doom Castle to get that cool chest over there. It has the arrow spell in it, which Kaylee already comes with. And the next place we're going, which is the giant tree, there are a lot of things which are just weak or very unhappy by arrow. So it is not something we want to miss at all. Ruben's the best waifu. You just like sandwiches, admit it. Renamon, I'm okay with that. See, Phoebe also gets my vote. Phoebe, yeah. Pazuzu's your waifu. Wow. You know what? There's no judgment here. You can, if Pazuzu's your jam, I'm in there for you, but he just makes me cry, and crying's not my jam. So, Phoebe's useful. Dark Elf waifu. Yes, agreed. Dark Elf is the waifu because he doesn't like pants, and who likes pants, really? So now that we have Arrow, we are having a much better time here in the the Alive Forest. I'm just going to call it the Level Forest. You know what? They're both the Level Forest, as that's obviously what I want to call it. But we've got Arrow, and these guys are weak to Arrow. So we're just going to sit here with our chocolate and toss arrows at them. And everything is happy and nothing hurts. Medusa. Yeah, you can have Medusa waifu. You can keep Medusa. Yeah, Mark is doing amazing. Now, do you see why I lost to these guys? They are both so good. Though, I want to note, not only is Tief not doing badly, he is doing excellent. It's just Mark's just doing superb, and the RNG just kind of likes him a little more right now. This is still a race, and things are not over. Neither of them have hit Pazuzu's tower, or have fought either Pazuzu or Z. All of those are big kind of time points in this game, so nothing is decided until one of them has defeated Zoo. So right now, yeah, Mark's in the lead. Mark's doing fantastic, but they're both doing fantastic. So it is really good. They're alive. It's alive! Alive! Yeah, we're shipping. We're shipping things in this harder than Captain Mac's ship. What? So Tief's not getting arrow? No, he's going back. Good. I was gonna say, I was like, did I miss him getting arrow? Please say I missed him getting arrow. But he's going back, so everything's fine. But Mark is in the alive tree. And this place, next to, like, floor 2, Pazuzu's tower, is one of the most annoying places in the run, because it is so long, and there's so many enemies, and some of them are really annoying. So, we are gonna do what we can. Thankfully, both our guys have arrow, which is very useful against a lot of them. Kaylee has an axe, which, surprisingly enough, trees don't like axes. How cool is that? We have our shiny new dragon claw, which we're going to start putting to some use because trees. It's a thing we do. But later we might ask you a question. Anyways, silly green elf taking my sword. Hey, we get essentially a hook shot out of it, so that's not too bad. I'm okay with it. Oh, I see what Tief did. Very smart. So he didn't forget the arrow spell. He purposely walked out of the focus tower so he could set his exit point. So he could go get the arrow spell and exit right out of there. So that was beautiful. So half of the battle of the giant tree, well, as with a lot of places here, but especially with the giant tree, is knowing exactly where you're going. Because it's huge. There's so many floors, and there's so many options of where to go on each floor. So it takes a while just to kind of memorize where you're going. And again, you've got to use your claw in order to walk up and down those climby bits, to use it like a hook shot to fly over to different areas. Plus, they're nice and give you more stabby things. I might be the only one who finds it a tiny bit creepy that you're stabbing a tree in the face, and it really loves that. We'll leave the tree to, what it does. You're seeing right now Mark is in a battle with these leeches, which 3 leeches is not a very nice battle because they're not super fun. But it's better than we're going to start seeing in a little bit, where they start tossing oozes into the battle. Now, these oozes are, they actively reflect magic. So we do not, which makes things a little difficult when a lot of our strategy right now is just magic everything. You can't do that with when there's oozes around. So, hey man, you gotta love those climby bits and stabby things. You can feel free to commentate if you want to do better, Mr. Vonnie. Just saying. A tree-like fungi. You guys. Also, yes, for any newcomers, please, I'm Natara, your commentator. Please give me all of the terrible, terrible puns. The worse, the better. I love them. They feed my evil, evil pun soul. So both of our racers, unsurprisingly, are both in the tree at the same time. The tree is so long, it's just one of those things you have to do. Now, like, you see, that room that Mark just walked into, there's like 4 or 5 different paths. There's monsters blocking your path no matter where you go. And there's these mushrooms everywhere. Like, trying to know where, especially as a casual player, or even just new to learning the speedrun, it is incredibly unfortunate. Ooh, you got to see one of the jumps. Jumping is a really fun thing to do in this game, but unfortunately, unless it is actively helping you get somewhere, like to jump over those dragon claw points or something, I think it's a frame or 2 slower to jump in terms of movement, so it's sadly why none of us just jump everywhere like I would 100% do if it wasn't slower. These puns are in the baddest of taste. They leave a bad taste in my mouth. They are lychee. So we, of course, will get more claw points here. coming up, but first, we're getting some good luck with the leeches and not getting oozes. As soon as you go into that door where you have your first set of mushrooms to chop down, that is the first point where you can start getting oozes in the battle. And you see Mark is leaving Benjamin dead. Often, depending on the battle and what's happening, it is just faster and easier to leave Benjamin dead. You're not in any particular danger. They just suck. You guys are brilliant. These are amazing. So, one thing you do have to be really incredibly careful of once you do get Exit as a spell is it is now the top of your white magic spell. So when you're outside of a battle, if you use it accidentally, you are going to teleport out of whatever area you're in, and monsters, I believe, respawn when you do that. So, have fun. You're definitely not a very happy person there. There are occasional times when you want to do that. Say if you know you have a floor 1 Pazuzu, you want to get everything set up with all the switches, and then you do want to use Exit to leave to save some time to get right back to floor 1, because all the switches will stay switched on, and you will you hadn't fought any of the enemies on the first floor anyway, so you don't care that they came back. So, but for now, away they go. Yeah, a lot of people, when using magic, curative magic, go to their partner's magic in order to try and avoid that exit problem I was mentioning earlier. So we're taking out these mad toads. Some things are just, even with arrow and whatnot, are faster to kill with axes, bombs, and things like exit. So often we are going to be using just straight up cure in order to cure ourselves, but if we have certain types of status ailments, or we've taken too much damage, you can use life as just a plain curative spell instead of, like, it's not just a life spell, it will act as cure, a full cure in fact, if you use it. So it is a strategy to use that, especially inside of a battle. So instead, leeches and toads, so now they are both at the point where they can start getting oozes on the battle. Yeah, you see here, Mr. Hank Hill has been petrified, but as long as Kaylee doesn't get petrified, she's fine. I'm not sure if that's one of your automatic protections. I do not think petrification is. Yeah, almost wouldn't. Yes, it does. But that's just because they won't just leave me alone. Oh, Mark's doing what I always used to do, which is when you're climbing up that wall, you climb up and kind of the inclination is to go up and over and then drop down. But as long as you just press and hold A right at that part, you just keep pressing right and you'll just drop right down to the next area. So it's a tiny bit faster, but he's got at least a minute or two ahead of Tief, so it's incredibly minor. But it's just for my own running. It was interesting to kind of learn the difference of things like that. It's those sort of things which can really help with refining your runs when you get there. Not that, let's be real, with Mark's times, he doesn't particularly need any refining. He has fantastic times, especially for this tournament. So yeah, I'm just gonna leaf, guys. Can't handle this. It's too awesome. So unlike at the beginning of the game where we were dodging the bigger encounter packs, it's really not even worth the effort. It's just as easy to kill the bigger encounter packs here as it is the smaller encounter packs. Plus, the further we go, the less able we are to actually run from battles. You start being just denied when you're just like, I'm gonna run! And they're like, nope, you're gonna stay here and get hit a bit more. And you're like, well, that's kind of sad. So for now, we're just gonna beat up on these mushrooms. Poor little mushrooms. Did you guys know, biology fact, mushrooms which look like this out in the wild are called red caps, and they are incredibly poisonous. So even though they look really pretty, if you see a mushroom with a bright red cap and little white spots on it in the wild, do not touch. Do not eat. It is sad. Wow, Tief had a bit of a close battle there. Lost his Kaylee and was down to 22. But we had faith. There was no way he wasn't going to get through that. But it just goes to show how kind of tricky things can get here in these battles, depending on how the hits go. I always love when the enemies try and use some sort of drain attack on your partner. One of the resistances that you pick up from the resistance glitch is a drain resistance. And not only is it a resistance, your drain resistance is so good, you just absorb theirs. So they try and drain you and take damage and you cure. It's like, thanks guys, I could use that HP. Why did Pooh go to the river in the 100-acre woods? Okay, this is gonna be beautiful. It looks sick. Yeah, always eat mushrooms. Mushrooms are delicious. Just don't do this one. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of the video games use that type of mushroom to be like, this is good. Let's eat it. It makes you strong and powerful. He had to meteor. He had to meteor. That was so beautiful. It hurts. And it only works in here. Oh, God. I'm so happy. Yeah, he also taught me to eat burning flowers. I'm sure there's flowers like that actually in the wild, which it's like, please don't touch those. Or eat them. They will burn you. It's the story of where Mario is really just tripping the whole time. And I'm pretty sure if you ever see mushrooms with, you know, a purple top and a skull on them, also bad names. So we are getting to near the end of the tree with Mark. I believe this is the second final floor. It's a bit of a spiral though. He's going to be walking in a circle fighting a lot of enemies. So if you're kind of new to seeing this run, you're seeing why this gets a little bit tedious. Yeah, and you also saw poor Tief there, not having much luck here with these poor mad toads. It just goes to show sometimes even though it's just a random encounter, it's not in a boss, sometimes things just don't go well and you just have to retry time and time again until RNG lets you get through. So, third time's the charm though, and he is through, no problem. Yeah, his RNG is stone cold. Yeah, that RNG. Oh. Brutal. Reminder to follow our runners. They are awesome people and are having a good time. And if you are enjoying my commentary, there you go. That's where you can find my channel, where I do my own streams on occasion. Sometimes they're this funny. Usually not. So we got... yeah, we're also starting to get to enemies who like to cast Quake on you because they're not very nice at all. Yeah. He did rock those toads. Then they croaked. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yeah, sometimes, again, knowing exactly where to go in this tree is impossible. I want to note that both Mark and Tief are in the same room, but they're not in the same section. Tief still has to go through the door in order to get to here. But technically they're in the same room. Oh, and they're fighting the same encounter, or the same encounter pack of these awful, really mean things. If you hit them with your claw, I think they're one of those enemies that claw has a chance to like petrify and do lots of nasty things, so you can just one-shot kill things. You don't even get a damage counter with it. It's just like BAM! Death. Doesn't always work, so often you want to use your bombs anyways as they attack both of them, but it's still really cool. Mark just did what I always do there. It's just like, okay, I need the claw, I'm gonna climb this wall. Instead, I'm going to shoot the claw to the side. So this is the last enemy Mark has to fight before the boss. So once he's done with it, he knows he can cure and he'll be ready to go. I think the boss coming up is purely arrows to fight him, but we're gonna find out shortly. If anything I say in my commentary is incorrect, please feel free to correct me. I am still relatively new to this game myself, so it wouldn't be the first time I'll give you guys... It won't be the first or last time I give you guys poor strategies, so, oh, yeah, Mark's boned. Bone before the boss. Find some Ghidorah. So, he is ready to go, though. So they are, of course, going to use Arrow to take care of these skeletons. Not very nice dudes, especially since they like to do not so nice things to you. You want them out of the way. So you can focus your arrows on Ghidorah. Now, you also have, you've probably seen them, they're using spells here all the time. How can they do that? Well, after we did the item underflow glitch as part of the manipulation to get the fire coin, we also got 255 seeds, so we can do as much magic as we want because we can just seed up if we're low at all. So we will do that here in this boss. They made sure to seed up and attack. I find Benjamin tends to have 5 or 6. I think it's about 5 arrow casts at this point, while Kaylee has 10, I think it is. Or it's either that or that was the fire's back away. Either way, you've got plenty to do it. So, done with the boss, and it is time for everyone's favorite goon kid. So it is supposed to in the background say, "Go on, kid," but they didn't really think about spacing. So instead, the trees in the background looks like it says "Goon Kid." So if you did miss it this time around, you will see it again with Tief once he finishes the boss. And for now, we get to just see the screen shake because it's a cloudy day and we ain't got time for that. But since we helped clear out that boss, a la the Deku tree, he walked us where we needed to go because he's a cool dude. Now, why is Mark doing this when we have exit, you ask? Well, that's because we are not quite done with this tree. We did not want to go and get this particular chest on our way out. In our way up, because it was completely out of the way. But now, it is very much so easy to get to on our way out. So in that chest is the spell of Meteor, which is going to be completely OP for the next area. So we definitely want it. And we are going to use it to destroy many, many things, especially in the next area. Yeah. Tief commenting that RNG can kick in for any time for Mark right now, and unfortunately, this is just the way Mystic Quest goes. Things are not down and out for Tief. I do want to point out yet again. There's so much RNG left to go, not just in the random encounters, with the areas and the bosses. So, but we have reached the next area with Mark. It is Windia, and once he got Meteor, he was able to exit out. So we're gonna do some erranding, as it were. So we're actually back in Fireburg, picking up the mega grenades that we did not pick up earlier. But one thing I want to note is you do not want to cast exit until you step on the crest to transport back, because otherwise you will teleport outside of Fireburg and have to walk all the way back in. Next step after doing that is buying the Cupid Locket, which gives us some extra resistances, though I will admit I don't know exactly which ones offhand. And lastly, we are going to talk to Otto here, who he ain't got no time to talk to you. His daughter is currently trapped over in Pazuzu's tower, and the wind is too strong, so he cannot do what he needs to get her back. So you, as awesome people, have volunteered to go and stop that. So you are off to Mount Gale. And this is where you're going to see the first usage and the real kind of impressive usage of the Meteor spell. Yeah, you're just gonna destroy things. It's amazing. Yeah, we got that spell off our chest. We went to the place that blows. We're on autopilot. You guys are on fire. Literally on fire. No. So the main strategy of all of the encounters in here, while Tief now heads up to the boss, is Kaylee kills one thing, Benjamin uses Meteor. So he has 3 or 4 usages. I think it's 3, and by the time he gets to the boss, he has 4. And he will Meteor everything, because it is amazing. Once we get Flare later on in Pazuzu's tower, we will basically drop Meteor like a bad habit because it is slow. But it is incredibly powerful, and right now we want to use it. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Doolhan only wishes. I mean, anyone who is not enjoying the puns in this chat right now, or is not currently also looking at the chat while watching the run, I highly recommend it. You can't get that sort of punishment anywhere else for free. What? So into well, Mark has his walk. Tief is taking care of Ghidorah, and I do believe he is one of the bosses where there's a move he can do while he is in this first kind of animation, which he can't do once he starts losing some damage later on. First thing that we want to do, though, is we do want to heal Kaylee before exactly what happens. That's such a happenstance. Anyways, unfortunately, she got petrified, and before we could cure her, your poor no HP Benjamin got his self tornadoed. So, but that's fine. We're cool now. We'll just try it again. It is a time loss, but it's not that bad. See, Chad was the best decision of your life. There are no regrets in this chat. So, yeah, right now is all the head puns. Because, well, you'll see now in a moment with the boss. One last enemy! We're almost there! Too bad we don't have a horse to ride in on. Yeah, chat is love, chat is life. Oh my god, guys. You're beautiful. I don't need to commentate, you're doing all the work. You're doing the heavy lifting for me. With all the hilarity. So, it is boss time, and now that we're all seated up, all of our points here, we're gonna talk to him, and he might be making the wind especially bad, but he's not the one who possesses the crystal. He has told us that it's Pazuzu, but he's not gonna let us get there. So instead, we are gonna get rid of his mean vampires, and take care of him. So he doesn't get ahead of himself. Yeah, Twitch commentates Mystic Quest with the best puns in the universe. So Ghidorah is down, second time, easy peasy. So guys, watch for your Goon Kid. Goon Kid! Got this. Tief. Poor Tief. Not having a great time. But again, we still have Pazuzu, Pazuzu deciding his floor on Pazuzu's tower. We still have Pazuzu himself, Jerkbird the first. And then we have Jerkbird the second being Zoo. There's so much RNG left, guys. Like, let alone the random fights and, you know, awfulness coming up until then. So, there's plenty of time here. There's nothing you gotta worry about. So, Tief now on his way to get Meteor, because, as you're seeing, it is superior to all. The basic strategy for Dullahan here is Meteor and have Kaylee cure. Like, she of course helps with Arrow when she can, but all you need to do is keep Mr. Hank there alive. I also love Tief's name. A bomb? What? Nearly what he says. Somebody set up us the bomb. You guys pun, I'll meme. My throat is pony. I think my throat's a little hoarse. Yeah. I said it just before you said it, but it'll come out on the thing as after. So it's Tief's turn to do his set of 3 to get his charm, bombs, and quest from Otto. So now Mark, however, has beaten Dullahan, so he exited out, and he's back to talk to Otto. So, what we need to do here is we want the Rainbow Road created so we can walk across to get to Pazuzu's tower. And he's like, please, please save my granddaughter. She is small and tiny and stuck in this evil, evil tower. Now, you can't see the Rainbow Bridge, but trust us, it's there. So, here's this little girl just hanging out. Hi. Okay, Norma, bye. So we saved the little girl because we're awesome people. And off she goes. Now for the hell that is Pazuzu's tower. It is 7 floors of nastiness. We climbing the odd numbered floors climbing up, and then working our way down. We will talk to Pazuzu on floor 3 to trigger him to go to a floor of his choice, which won't be floor. All we know is he's not on floor 7. And he's not on floor 3. Other than that, though, we need to climb all the way up to floor 3, all the way to floor 7, and then start working our way down floor by floor, hitting switches, I believe, on the even floors to try and trap him. best case scenario, he is on floor 6, which is the first floor we really check after we hit a switch. Worst floor is him on floor 2, because you have to check every floor on the way down, and it has more encounters than any of the others. So, the order after that is, I'm not 100% sure, but anything other than floor 6 is literal minutes slower than getting a floor 6. So, we are, as per usual, once we get there, we are going to want our PogChamps if we get a floor 6, and our Baby Rages for anything else. I always wonder why the little kid why she was ever in there in the first place. Like, I understand if Otto or someone else is going to go there. Oh look, we found Pazuzu! No, that's just setting him off. He's technically on every floor at this point, and you can talk to him elsewhere. And then he will go to any floor but that one. But, so far it has been worked out that it is fastest to talk to him on floor 3, as you don't have to fight any other extra encounters to get there, and kind of work it out from there. No. There's a dinosaur named Norma? Dinosaur! You guys are champions. So now that we've talked to him, we are going, I think, to the Hellway. So these Manticores, which are the upgraded version of the Sphinxes, are really not very nice. 2 of them in an encounter is mean for doing such things as petrify. But 3 of them, even in the guide, which tells you what to do for each encounter pack, what it says next to 3 is pray. Because they're really not very nice, and I think it's all encounter packs of 3 going up what we call the Hellway, which is a staircase which always has one type of enemy, and in this particular one, so it's not this one, it's the next one. This is the Beholder one, which is still not very nice, but is nothing like the one filled with the Manticores. Because they are really mean. You have to life them or exit them and hope they don't murder your face before you get them gone. True story. Yeah, then they do things like this. They kill your partner, they blind you. Oh good. Good luck though. Okay, so Tief is about to hit our boss dude, so let's hope he doesn't get ahead of himself here now, but I think he's doing good. I don't want to go to the zoo. Or the zoo. Ain't got no time for that. Okay, so, wow, the murder game is strong here with, Dullahan. Getting some... And of course, getting the big encounter packs for Mark. But he's the bomb, so he's got this. So again, we want to keep an eye on our partner health, because we cannot bring them back to life if they die. Oh, intriguing! So, what he did, Tief tried something which unfortunately did not work, but you can use, I believe it's heal, on the enemy, and if it works, it paralyzes him for a few turns. But you don't know if it worked until you see whether he acts or not, whether he does anything. Ooh, I think it worked the second time. It did not work the first time for sure. So we'll see what he does. Mark up on floor 5. Oh, he's just doing it every time. That's interesting. I don't know if that's going to save him much time versus, whatnot, but it's definitely an interesting strategy. I like it. Oh yeah, it does a random status ailment on him, one of which is paralyzed, so I'm just going to poke him. Take that! So yeah, he's poisoned and he's paralyzed. It's beautiful. Now, and Mark gets to the Hellway, which is the 3 fights with the Manticores. Everybody, wish him luck. Give him your cheesiest and most awful puns for RNG luck, because these guys are mean. And we'll do the same for Tief when we get there. The puns feed. They feed us. And feed the runners. I love how every turn Dullahan's like 99. 99. Do we have stinky cheese? Everyone needs stinky cheese, guys. It's necessary. And he got Doulahan. Excellent. And he took like no damage. That was beautiful to watch. So now that he's done his thing, he's curing up now. And oh, he had to use a seed because he was out of exit. Or just because he wanted to. That is an interesting combination of emotes. Bohio and Stinky Cheese. Everyone loves Stinky Cheese. So we are going to have both of our runners inside of Pazuzu's tower at the same time. It's going to be sadness and tears, and again, this could really even things up depending on what floors our guys get. So lots of cheers, lots of awful puns. We got this. We also, well, let you know when we can start looking out for our Pazuzus here. That's an emote. Ew. So I think beholders are resistant to magic. I know we just tend to use physical attacks on them. Any fight with a Chimera, you want to use arrow. Same with these mages. Or exit, but I think it's if you have 2 mages and a Chimera, then you want to use the arrow on the Chimera. So we've got floor 1 and floor 7. So what Mark has to do here is he has to clear out the enemies on his path to, there's the Thanatos reskin, or not even reskin, he just reappears. He's just like, hello! Showing up there. The Doulahan reskin, I should say. So he's going to fight these dudes and take the stairs down on the bottom for our first set of floor checking. But he has to get through all the enemies on floor 7 first. So we'll see how he goes. You can tell we're on the roof because, you know, they gave a little bit of, they changed the background for us, gave us some bright blue sky to make us hopeful before Pazuzu tears us down into sadness. So we're just gonna take out all these dudes, these awful encounters. So exciting. So you can see how sometimes these runs can get a little just boring for spectators because there's certain parts where it's just like, and now we watch our runners kill monsters. So it's only if something particularly goes wrong in somewhere. It's a good way to help learn the run, and it's not quite so bad when you're playing it yourself, because especially when you're new to it, because the hardest part I find about doing these runs at all is learning what to do for all of these encounter packs. Because it's not like other games where you're like, well, I just run from everything and just need to know what to do for the bosses. You need to know what to do for the bosses and all these encounter packs, and which enemies to fight, what to do depending on which particular type of encounter pack they are. So in the guide, it does give you a full list of all of the different encounter packs and what to do with them, and it is beautiful. Another reminder for anyone who is just showing up here, follow our runners. They are wonderful and are doing a fantastic race here. And if you're enjoying my commentary, feel free to give me a follow as well. Yeah, Mark is, or he'll fall to the pits of despair. Climb down. Yeah, Tief's not quite to the Hellway yet, but he does have to fight some of these not very nice manticores. Well, Mark is almost on his way to floor 6. So fight our last Doulahan here. No. That's right, they are. They're gonna switch it up. Take it to the next level. Ride that elevator to victory. Ah. Don't worry, we want the bad puns here. They're feeding not just the commentator, but in my mind, they feed the hope and the dreams of these runners too. So, bring it all. Bring all the puns. Be one with the puns. Feel them in yourself and in your life. And know that they are the only thing which can combat the awfulness that is the RNG that comes along with this game. So, we are going to want to go through that spot on the wall. We're going to want to bomb and go up there, as there is a switch we're going to want to hit, and we'll be able to check for Pazuzu. But right now, we really desperately want to get this chest, because inside that chest is going to be the flare spell. And the strategy, Pazuzu's tower is really kind of unique, because you have one set of strategy for before flare for these enemy packs, and a completely different set for afterwards, because your strategy afterwards is basically flare everything. Kill one thing, cast flare. So it definitely comes much easier. Keep up, yeah, we'll reach a level that leaves Pazuzu floored. Don't want to keep nagging you. Okay guys, last battle before we find out if we got a floor 6, so get your PogChamps ready, your PogChamps and your Baby Rages. PogChamp if Pazuzu is there, Baby Rage if he is not. We are ready. Born ready, and remember, we want a floor 6. Well, Mark wants a floor 6. Tief does not want Mark to have a floor 6. Yep, PogChamp or Baby Rage. Get them ready, guys. Oh yeah, PogChamp or PogChamp. Yep. I want them both to have floor 6. We want nothing but PogChamps here. I can't control Pazuzu, but I definitely want floor 6s. So he's gotta hit that switch anyways. Oh, Baby Rage, guys. Baby Rage. Because he has to keep looking, so he, by default, has many more fights he is going to have to do, because he has to go searching for Mr. Pazuzu, who decided not to be on floor 6 like a jerk. But this gives our Tief a chance to catch up. Now, one of the things he's going to want to be doing is he's going to want to be hitting switches along the way, because if you don't hit a switch and you find Pazuzu and you talk to him, he will leave. He'll just be like, oh, you found me? That's cute. Gone. And you're like, but So yes, never forget to hit those switches. You'll only do it once, and then you will cry forever. Yeah. Yes, sorry, Mark Bio, but the Pazuzu is in another floor. Sub. Ooh, we get some more specific rage there. So he is also not on floor 5. So, we don't have to worry about coming back here. So that leaves floors 4, 2, and 1. We do not want floor 2. Floor 2 bad. Floor 2 very sad. While everyone keep the puns flowing, we need them for Tief on his Hellway journey. Get past, he's got 2 of them down, so we want things going well there. He's featured on several stories. You guys are absolutely brilliant. These puns are the most beautiful thing I've experienced today. I cannot even. They should be kept for posterity. Mythical that is an excellent question. You should look that up and let us know. I know we all want to hear about it. No, Mark's heading up to new levels. Okay, let's see. Oh, he's not on floor 4 either. So some of these floors, even if Pazuzu is on them, he cannot, you can't fight him on that floor anyways. He is going to go to the floor above. And floor 4, actually I think it's floor 5 is one of those floors. So I believe what you do in this case is you don't bother with the switch on floor 4. You want to go down to floor 2 and see if he's there. Because if he's there, you're going to have to come back up anyways, because you got to walk all the way around, I believe. I have actually never had floor 2, so I couldn't 100% tell you. So he is going to, yeah, but floor 1 is definitely faster. I think floor 1 is the next fastest at this point. If he's not on floor 2, that's going to be nice. Okay. In ancient Mesopotamian religion, Pazuzu, sometimes Fazuzu or Pazuza, was the king of the demons of the wind, brother of Humbaba, who you might recognize from Final Fantasy VI, so another thing there, and son of the god Humbi. He also represented the southwestern wind, the bearer of storms and drought. Well, he is definitely the bearer of storms and the lord of the wind here, like a jerk. yeah, don't forget to go back to the fourth switch, guys. If he's on floor 2, just don't. You will cry. Well, actually, you have to go buy it anyways. Yeah, he decided to get it anyways, and which I think was a good call. Okay, so he's not on floor 3 because he just doesn't do that. So we got a minute before we find out if he's on floor 2. Yeah, he brings PB Drought. That is 100%. Yeah, I know he's Poombaba, but in some translations it's Humbaba. That is, yeah. Are switches still out? Have they still not made more and started selling those? I can't even. Anyways, that's something for another time. Oh no! Floor 2! Mark has officially gotten floor 2, guys. So that is the slowest floor, bar none. So as long as Tief does not also have floor 2, he has a chance to make up some time. Which is great for Tief. If he gets a floor 6, this is on like Donkey Kong, guys. So this just got pretty exciting. But again, if he also got floor 2 or something close to floor 2, it's sadness and tears. So we're gonna cross our fingers, even this up, because I'm totally happy that Mark is doing so fantastically, but I think we want to race, guys. We want to race! So we're gonna see what happens here. So he flicked the switch, so trap him there. So now he has to walk all the way back. I believe is how this works. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna find out because I've never actually seen floor 2 before. See what the wonderful strategy is while he sits and cries. Infinite tears for floor 2. We'll see after this fight too how close Tief is to going down to floor 6. Okay, so he's not far from floor 6, so he's gotta go get his flare and then head on. Oh, I understand. So then you just walk down to floor 1. And then walk all the way back up. That's monstrous. That is monstrous. Timon and Poombaba. That is so beautiful. Guys, I'm out of tea. It's the saddest thing in the universe. But these guys are not out of tea. Guys, I have awful puns. Mine aren't even good awful puns. Mine are just bad. I'm walking to see where Mark B's going. I'm just, feel free to tell me, guys, where he's going. What is the strategy when you get floor 2? I know floor 2 has like a whole pile of extra encounters, which is why it is so awful. No. Oh, I'm so excited to see what floor Tief gets. It's gonna be something awesome. Oh gosh. The tower's reaching for some water. Oh yeah. Okay, so he got his thing. Oh, 2 counters away. Let's see what we got here for Tief. Again, get your PogChamps for floor 6 and Baby Rages for not floor 6 ready. We're gonna need them. Gotcha. Of course he does, that makes sense. And he already flicked the switch for floor 4, so he won't transport up from there. Wow, that is filled with sadness and tears. Wow, no wonder it takes so much longer. He is a sad bandit right now. Okay guys, get them ready. Oh, we got floor 6! Guys! Oh my god, that is so beautiful. Get my PogChamp ready, but I won't do it early. Because I can't even. That is... oh my god. I cannot even. That is so beautiful. Guys, we have got a race! We want our PogChamps. Oh, Pazuzu'd. There you go, Keith. See, this what happens sometimes. Tief has had pretty rotten RNG all throughout this run, and what should happen now? Floor 6 Pazuzu! Yeah! So, we're gonna see what happens. Now, just because he's fighting Pazuzu first does not mean he is going to beat Pazuzu first. Pazuzu himself, the fight, is not a very nice bird. He is a jerk. A jerk bird. So, I think, yeah, he does lots of very nasty things. So, every 5 turns, he is going to put up a Psych Shield, where you cannot attack him. And that'll be a good chance for you, because you'll be able to use Seeds to bring back and the magic, because you're casting Flare on him. And you'll use Kaylee to cure. Now, Kaylee is the fastest partner in this game, and definitely, and almost always outspeeds Pazuzu as well. So even though the Psych Shield is only up for 1 battle, you definitely, for the second turn, want to make sure you still cure or whatnot with her. Because otherwise, if you attack while that Psych Shield is up, it is sadness and tears. Oh, I see. Okay, so we have both of them on Pazuzu at the same time. That is, I can't even, guys. This is a race. It's gonna depend on how nice Pazuzu is. Let's hope he is not a jerk to either of them. We want no jerk birds here. Though he's already not being very nice to Tief, but you know, it's Pazuzu, it's what he does. So you start seeing unless you do he tends to do his animation change between his Psych Shields. It makes it look particularly cool. So, and as I mentioned much earlier, he does have an animation, which is whenever he does those the wing flaps, it's either because Psych Shield is going up or Psych Shield is coming down. So it is definitely not a fun time at all. Because Pazuzu's a jerk. Watching what's happening on both of them. We're getting a lot of not very nice things happening over to Benjamin here on Tief's screen. Though it looks like the same thing is happening to Mark, because Pazuzu, not a very nice dude. So again, he's going to use Seeds while Pazuzu has his Psych Shield up. Kaylee's going to cure, and Kaylee will also cure again in the second turn when the Psych Shield comes down. You have no worry about it not coming down in time for using your Flare spell for Benjamin, because Benjamin's slow. But yeah, Kaylee, yeah, you definitely do not want to risk that. No, we had a floor 2 for Mark, and floor 6 for Tief, which evened them up because they had a pretty big difference. Okay, just in case. And now we get Tief getting what we like to call the paint me like one of your French birds pose. Oh, Pazuzu is down for Tief. So he is officially in the lead currently. Again, we still have one more jerk bird to go, plus the random RNG for the rest of the run. So this is a race. This is so much closer now. This is incredibly impressive. So as soon as you beat Pazuzu, he does automatically, you get to use his elevator. The switches you flipped suddenly don't matter at all, and you can go right to the top floor. And you free the air crystal. Everything is wonderful. And then you exit out and leave that chest. The reason being is that chest is a sky coin, and you are going to create one of those for yourself anyways. So, because we're doing another underflow glitch. Now, what I want to note here is you just saw that Tief bought 0 cure potions, but he did not use them. You must not use those cure potions until you have talked to Otto here, so you can change your party. Otherwise, you will soft lock the game. You'll be trapped with Kaylee as your partner, but you need to talk to her to get the captain's cap to progress the plot. Having Ruben in your party is less important than it is having Kaylee not in your party. So now, actually, we already got the sky coin in your party, in your thing earlier with the same glitch where we got the fire coin. But we complete the glitch. We made sure to have no heal potions left. Often your partner will just use them automatically. And by buying those 0 cure potions and using them, we get given the Thunder Rock. So we get to do a smaller skip, where we skip the area you would usually go in order to get the Thunder Rock. Making sure to use the Mobius Crest area up at the top of Windia to go back up and go up to the cave. Or sorry, we don't use the Mobius Crest yet. We just walk up over the Rainbow Bridge that you are now able to create, bomb the area, and get the ship there. Now you must make sure to come back and talk to Kaylee. Again, this is where the soft lock can happen if you did the glitch early, because she gives you the captain's cap you need in order to progress and go onto the ship. If you're like me, who did this once and forgot to talk to Kaylee, did everything else right, but forgot to talk to Kaylee before going to the ship here, it's just hanging out far in the water. You're like, why is the ship all the way back there? And it's because you don't have the captain's cap. So, right now, we are going through here and the boat, because we're looking for Captain Mac. Basically, this whole game, Kaylee has been looking for Captain Mac, her father. His ship was trapped up on that ledge because the water was all gone. So after getting rid of the wind and fixing things, bombing up at Spencer's place, we were able to complete the job he started with digging through, and we were able to go and free the poor ship. But unfortunately, it is infested with monsters. So we are now going to go kill some of those monsters, because that's what we do. We like to kill monsters. And you know what else we like to do? We like to follow these wonderful runners. I have posted their information into the chat. If you're enjoying this stream at all, they're both great runners and doing a fantastic job here. And if you're interested at all in my commentary and runs, I have also posted my own Twitch. So Ruben has very little in the way of magic, unlike some of the people you can get. But he does have life, like all of the other partners, and he has the white spell. So that tends to be pretty great. So a lot of your strategy here is going to be doing flare and white. So flare with Benjamin and white with Ruben. Generally, a lot of what you're doing is pretty easy, though. It's nothing too crazy. This boat, after doing both the tree and then Pazuzu's tower, is a break. It's relaxing because you fight like 5 enemies max, and then you're done. And you're on to the final place. So, and there's no boss here, it's just enemies. So as long as you know where to go, it's not too bad at all. So we're just gonna petrify. We're not worried about petrify because we got other stuff, like white. So one of the big things in here in the boat is just simply knowing where to go. Knowing you need to climb those pillars or the posts in order to climb to the area, where to climb down, where to push or jump over barrels, just things like that. The fact you want to walk down the path without the enemies rather than the path with the enemies. All we want is some easy Mac, guys. This is not an easy journey for Mac, but if we put our microwaves together, we might find him. It's what the flares really are. It's microwaves. So, since we're here anyways, we're gonna pick up the upgraded armor because we literally have to come here. And we found Captain Mac, and so did Kaylee. She didn't worry about the rest of the monsters. Apparently you clear the way. And Captain Mac is not in the best way, and Ruben, I don't know, he's sick or something. I don't know. He spends this whole run being sick all the time. It's kind of what he does. So, of course, the new bros of Spencer and Tristram have showed up. So they come, they tell you something, and then they leave again, because that's kind of what they do. They're not here to help, they're just here to talk. So once you've come back here, you can either walk all the way back down, or you can exit and come back in. I think the exiting is a little bit faster, but this works well. So what you want to do is, Phoebe showed up because she's awesome. And Ruben, I don't know, strained himself, laid down a bit too much. He needs to go back to bed. He's sick. And instead, we get Phoebe! Yay! So not only is Phoebe awesome, she is our last partner, and this is officially the last partner. So it's anywhere from here. Any save that you do from this point, you can use to do the resistance glitch, because you have your last partner. Yeah, something is awry with Ruben. So you talk to Phoebe. You stay at the inn because you got to talk to Captain Mac in order to trigger the ability to go to Doom Castle, and then you go back to the ship, which is now free of monsters. It is shiny. So we travel through the clouds, which are still there, but don't worry, we're good sailors. We know where we're going, or something. Don't mash A at that point, because if you do, you will go all the way back. You'll be like, hi, I'm on the ship, and you just ride out. So, last place. We have arrived to Doom Castle. Tief is there first, and Mark is not far behind. Again, using the inn, and then talking to Mac, who informs you that there is a prophecy about a Dark King, and about you have to defeat the Dark King in order to save the world. And he's in Doom Castle, which is underneath Focus Tower. So you're like, okay, cool, I got that. I can do that. I'm not 100% sure what Tief is doing there. He may have been out of something, because the general strategy, I think, for this floor is Flare and White. Or not White, sorry, is Flare and Thunder. You use Thunder on whichever the single ninja is, because you're going to see in a lot of these battles, there's just a single ninja hanging out. And Flare kills the rest of the enemies. There is a shield which you can pick up here, and Tief is not going to pick up. We'll see whether Mark goes and gets it. It is the Aegis shield, and it gives you extra protection specifically against Paralyze, which is really useful. But instead, what we're going to do is we're not going to travel through all of this. By taking that specific staircase and walking right and bombing and clawing left, we get right to the boss. And for some reason, this boss and the next boss of Doom Castle have not even... They didn't program them with like the boss flag or anything. So you can just exit or life them, and they're done. So, so Mark... My Discord keeps disconnecting me. I don't know why. Anyways, I'm back. So Mark, I think he accidentally stepped a little too far. So since it brings down at the bottom and to the right is where the Aegis shield is, he is gonna go and pick it up. It is out of the way, but since he's down here anyways and only has to fight one battle, it does give him resistances that Tief will not have, so it really could give Mark an advantage. Most runners do leave it behind though, unless they get into such a scenario. Because it's out of the way, you've got to walk all the way back around. So, but again, the first two bosses aren't difficult at all, because where they don't have that boss flag and you can use either exit on them or life, it makes them incredibly easy. So yeah, don't get too enthusiastic with these shifting sands here. You end up having to walk a lot more. So, Mark's turn to take care of Skullsaurus Rex. Now, Tief is in the second floor, which is now based off the ice area. And like with the Ice Palace when we were in it, there are lots of switches and jumping and unfortunate things. And I personally find this place to be quite a maze. Of all the floors in Doom Castle, I find the ice one the most complicated, because you just need to know exactly where to go, which switches you need to flick, and where you kind of go from there, because if you miss even one, you could end up having to backtrack quite a bit. And you cheer for both of them. You cheer for anyone and anything but Mystic Quest. We want Mystic Quest to lose, and for these guys to win. So, again, hitting those switches and knowing which switches to hit, which, let's be real, is most of them. So, attacking a lot of them here. Phoebe's strategy, or Tief's strategy seems to be a lot of white. With the adorable snowman. Yeah, cheer for the Dark King. He has the best music. I love the boss battle music the best personally, but I do agree the Dark King is like a close second. And I think everybody can agree that this game in general, whatever tracks tend to be your favorite, has an amazing soundtrack. Like, they just rocked it when doing this soundtrack. As a casual game, there's a debate whether it's a good or bad game or not, but again, we can all agree that the music, mwah, on par, absolutely gorgeous. Whichever track is your favorite. Yeah, Dark King's just hurting, and he needs you to take care of that. And don't worry, have we got some good news for him. So in the meantime, I think he forgot to hit his switch. He did. So good thing Mark remembered. And he is doing his thing. So again, don't forget your switches, guys. You will backtrack and be filled with sadness and tears. I think there's 1 or 2 switches you don't have to get, but most of them you do. So when in doubt, just get a switch. Don't worry about any of the items, you don't need them. Kill any of the bosses or any of the enemies which stand in your way. I personally don't enjoy this game as a casual game. I find it to be tedious and repetitive, but I find it to be a really fun speedrun, if a frustrating one due to the incredible and impressive RNG, just chances. It's not an awful game, I just don't find it an enjoyable casual run. So, we are on our way. We are now fighting the second of the bosses in Doom Castle here, of the total of 5. The refights of the 4 main kind of elemental bosses, which again, the second one does not have the resistances he should. He does not have his boss flag. So we're just gonna exit him because we ain't got time for properly fighting bosses. We got things to do. People to save. Dark Kings to heal. I played this game so much as a kid. It was not my first Final Fantasy, the original was that, but it was one of my early ones, and I loved it as a kid, but it was just simple enough to be completely engaging and wonderful as a kid. Now as an adult, less so. So one of the mechanics of Doom Castle is you have to do each of the floors based off the one of the elemental areas. So this fire area looks really weird. I know I didn't see any place like this in the game, but the game designers obviously thought it should be here, so we'll acquiesce and listen to them this one time. But you can now progress to the next floor until you have beaten the boss of the first one. It literally has those gray pylons in the way, blocking your path. It's definitely not cool at all. This might have been my 4th Final Fantasy. It definitely wasn't the first. I think I played 2 and 3 US before this one, but it definitely wasn't my first. So time to exit the boss again and hope these chimeras can confuse, and I think they can also petrify you, or sorry, the Cerberuses. So I've seen people had to fight this boss in the ice area multiple times just because the Cerberuses are jerks, not because the boss is hard. So, but in the ice area, just fighting everything that's kind of in your path, making good use of the Dragon Claw. And, again, everything is the same strategy for the most part. Flare white. So, walking back out. Because of a couple of the switches that you hit in the ice area, it does make it quicker to walk out. You don't have to walk out the exact way you came. There is a faster way to leave. So that was pretty nice of the programmers to include. So you're playing lots of jumping, and you can kind of see with how this area is, how annoying it could potentially be to have actually done this area. But thankfully, we didn't bother and we skipped it. So, Tief is fighting this set of Cerberuses now. You don't technically need to fight them now, but that is your way out of this floor. So, better to fight them now than after the boss when you are just done and ready to leave. So it clears your path for the end. And again, you need to walk right past them anyways, on your way to the boss. Yeah, Pazuzu really does that. He is, and again, we are not done. We still have Pazuzu's refight of Zu, or Za, depending on how you like to pronounce it. I am a Zu person. And, I one of my 3 races here, I had to fight him 11 times. Some of those were due to my own dumb mistakes, but many of them were due to just him being a jerkbird. He was not very nice. He did a lot of Doom dances. So, of the bosses in this, in Doom Castle, this is the first one of any sort of consequence. Okay, I think he's the one, actually, who has the extra attack, which he can only do when he has both of his heads. It was not the, previous one, in the giant tree. Guys, it's pronounced Zoo. I don't care. It's Pazuzu. Sure, what's short for Pazuzu? Zoo. You guys can happily pronounce it how you like, but I will unrepentantly, no matter how it is supposed to be pronounced, call it Zoo. And I will even accept that I am wrong, but I like my logic. So, Zoo he is. He's zooing it up. Zoo, zoo. So, now we fight the twin-head wyvern. The second, the refight of a boss we never fought. Ooh, now, here we go when it comes to RNG. We have lost our partner. So Tief is gonna have to die. So he wants to die fast. Yeah, when things go wrong, you do not want to try and... Depends on how you die, but if your partner dies, unless you're right at the end, you don't want to recover. You don't want to try and keep fighting unless you're right at the end of the fight. You want to die, and you want to die quickly so you can just refight. So, guys, this is so incredibly close, and Zoo is going to make it even worse. It is... And by worse, I actually mean better. And, oh, Phoebe's dead again. This is a fight where you have to really keep an eye on Phoebe's health, because we don't have any extra resistances. We have the exact resistances we've had the whole time. But not only that, yeah, so we're back to default. We're back to the default resistances. We have nothing extra. So this guy can do a lot of damage, and as you've been seeing, he can basically just two-shot Phoebe. So, yeah, you gotta really keep on her health. Ooh, that was great for Mark. His Benjamin had just died, which again is totally not a problem because you have life with your partner. But and then killed the twin-head wyvern. So we'll see how Tief goes. Again, this doesn't mean a lot yet because we still have Zoo to go. Zoo, it really is. He's kind of the end there. So we will see how that happens. No, he can do it. You can do it. Still have to go. Yeah, this dragon is a jerk. Another thing which turns these races around is, honestly, just like with the ice floor earlier, knowing where to go on Pazuzu's floor. It is a maze. There are so many areas you can go, and there are certain areas here where you can fall off the edge. You do not want that. You will fall right back down into the fire area, so you'll have to walk all the way around. So, you definitely want to keep an eye on what parts of the floor have the squiggly lines on the edge and which do not, because they will indicate where you can fall. Okay. Things are looking... I'm not going to comment on Tief until we're done there. That was, yeah, doing okay here for Mark. Okay, good. Tief is done. Tief has cleared out that dragon. So it just goes to show again that wyvern... These bosses can be incredibly difficult, and the RNG can just be trolling really bad. So, know your bosses, know your recovery, and just accept that the game hates you. And sometimes things are just going to go horribly wrong, and there's nothing you can do. There really isn't. So, you can know all the recoveries and every strat, and sometimes the game just says no. So, you have to be at peace with that in order to play this game as a speedrun. So we're gonna see how it goes. Again, I fought Zoo 11 times. Neither of these guys are gonna fight him that many times because I'm a new runner and they are both incredibly good. But it just goes to show that Zoo can be incredibly terrible. Even worse than Pazuzu. So we're gonna see. This is definitely gonna be exciting. In the meantime, we're gonna see a lot of flare. I think it's some of the formations on this floor where you actually want to use meteor rather than flare. Either way though, it goes quite well. And they're gonna walk, and we're gonna see a lot of boss like tons of boss reskins here in this floor. Because at this point, you're just seeing everything. Well, not everything, but many things that are very sad. But as much as Zoo is not the actual final boss of the game, when it comes to the speedrun, he is the final boss of the game. Once you have beaten Zoo, you're done. You are, there's very little you have to worry about, because even if something goes wrong and you die at Dark King, he is such a quick fight anyways, it is not hard to pick up and fix that. So let's... Guys, we're getting near the end. I cannot wait to see what this Zoo is gonna do. Oh, dead partner, but also meteor. So, yeah, totally fine. In the battles like that, dead partner is not so bad, but it can be scary. Now, this walking area, you gotta be careful, because if you just press down one extra time, you fight that Thanatos rather than walking right past him like Mark does. And I know me as a new runner does that incredibly often. I'll forget where I am or just forget that he's there, and I'm just like, oh darn, and I'm fighting him. So, and as I mentioned earlier, the further in the game you get, the harder it is to run away from enemies. So you just saw there from Tief, sometimes you just die at these battles. It does not even matter. Can't spell RNG without the R. Yeah, it is incredibly random. It truly is. So one more battle before we get to fight our Z. See how this goes. Again, we are hoping Mark, as much as we want these guys to be close to have one of those really great races, we do want Mark to do well and have a good fight. But we also want it to go well for Tief, so let's see how it goes. Tief playing it safe and curing up Benjamin, which is incredibly smart there. Okay, so we've got Zoo here, who does not come alone this time. He comes with friends. And not only does he come with friends, something you're going to notice is that he has, he will do his Psych Shield a turn earlier than Pazuzu. He does it on turn 4 rather than turn 3. And again, he comes with friends. You waste one of those turns taking care of his friends. And he uses Doom Dance, as do his friends. So things can get incredibly nasty at this fight. So we are gonna see what happens. He also often just attacks randomly with Psych Shield, doing 1 damage to everyone. I don't even know why anyone thought that was a good idea. I'm not sure if it has some sort of a status effect that might affect you if you don't pick up the armor in casual. I got nothing. To me, it's just a totally useless attack. And again, they do not want to attack him while he has his Psych Shield actually up, because he will counterattack and murder them. Okay, so Psych Shield is up. Now, something that's interesting on this fight versus Pazuzu is you have Phoebe as a partner, not Kaylee. And she is slower than Kaylee. So usually, you are safe to use magic on her second turn before the Psych Shield goes down. But there are times where she will still outspeed Zoo, so you want to be careful. Playing it safe, he did have, since no healing was needed, you can physical attack while the Psych Shield is up and have no problems, and so that's what he did. And then cured on the second turns and didn't outspeed anyway, so having an incredibly good Zoo fight. And Zoo is down, so I think we can call it at this point. But that doesn't mean things are down and out for Tief. We're still hoping him a good run and a good Zoo. So thankfully, again on this floor, they've made it so you do not have to walk all the way out. You go down here at this those chimeras and just jump right down. And they set it up on the fire floor. Like, as much as this was kind of created as a beginner Final Fantasy for the US, and is very simplistic in places, it is also incredibly well thought out. Like, you see little bits like that, and you're like, that is pretty great. So, there's a statue of you there. Hello, I'm Benjamin. You apparently knew I was going to be here. It's a little creepy, but the crystals now want you to go have these treasures, which we're going to ignore because we don't need them, and go fight the final boss. Now, final boss, who has the best music ever. It's really good. He apparently made up the prophecy. He lied to everybody, and now he's going to kill you. But what he doesn't quite realize is that he's hurting. He's hurting a lot. So we're going to take advantage of an underflow glitch, and we're going to try and heal him to death. So the strategy, as long as you're not level 24, is cure with Benjamin and defend with Phoebe on the first turn. Cure with both of them on the second turn, because Phoebe will go first, will actually cure, which will underflow his health back to a point it can tell, and it will, yeah, so then you just keep doing that. That was interesting. He just fake drained himself into the next stage. So what's going to happen here is another curing with Benjamin, who is not going to have the claw or the bombs on. He is going to have, or the sword, I think. He's got to either have, yeah. Anyways, time for Mark. He has completed. His final time is 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 56 seconds. No, that was his PB. No, sorry. 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 38 seconds is his final time, which is a race PB of 1 minute and 18 seconds. But Tief is on Zoo, so we're going to see how he does there. So, yeah, GG, good game to Mark. This does mean Mark will definitely be moving on to the next round, and Borum is the second place winner for this group. So he has 2 wins and 1 loss. So he will be going in the second place spot to the next round. So congratulations. Tief can keep me company, we're just back to regular speedrunners. So let's see how Tief does on this Zoo. So this, from what I have seen, is his first attempt at Zoo. And if he can also get him first try, that would be beautiful. So the Psych Shield is up, so he's getting his seed going. You actually, in the ending, have to scroll through all of that text. It's not auto-scroll or anything. It's a little silly. While Hank Hill there does his world tour. So Zoo being lovely. Yeah. Yeah, they're really cool enemy designs, and the fact that I really also like along with the music, the fact that the enemies and the bosses change as it goes on. Okay, Zoo is down, so beautiful. Both of them got him on first try. See, this is good runs, good racers, good runs, and really great RNG for that. So Tief did have an incredible run, and it was so great to see that come back, but unfortunately there was just that bad luck, the bit of bad RNG with Twin Head. But that's what happens with this game, unfortunately. Very, very good job. Wonder, is Mark gonna join me in the commentary? Does he want an interview? He's welcome to have one if he wants to join me. Otherwise, I'll just keep commentating. That's what I do. So, now we are gonna see Dark King Part 2. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, this has been a really close and incredible race. It's been really good, well deserved, and well done by both runners. So, Dark King, again, they're below level 24, so making sure not to have the claw on, or I think the sword. It's going to be Cure Defense on the first turn, because we want to do the damage. Second turn is Cure in order to roll it back and then hit him again. And yep, and then it's going to be, and then he's going to be dead because he's got a hurt, and oh boy, I want to help his hurt. So yeah, last turn again is Cure and Defend. So he did the same thing in Tief that he did to Mark, which is he decided he was going to drain Phoebe, which is hilarious. And Phoebe, with her drain resistance, said, "Nope, I'm done with that," and sent him into the last stage, or the third stage, which is a giant creepy spider. But as long as your guy is okay and alive to do the last thing, time. So, Tief's final time is 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 21 seconds. I love the amount of 2s and 1s in there. That is also a race PB of 30 seconds, so that is incredible. Congratulations. If either of you guys want to pop in the commentary channel, I'll happily talk with you guys, see how you feel about the run. And if not, we'll clue it up and leave it as it is. So, again, it's just one of those games and those races where RNG is just incredible. You've seen it here in the run where how big a difference it is between getting a floor 6 and a floor 2, because that is exactly what happened in this race, and it was incredible for tying these guys up, and then just how quickly it can change with the boss RNG. So fantastic work, guys. That was incredible. You guys were less than a minute apart in your final times. So even though, again, Mark finished first, they are still incredibly good. Oh no, Mark was late on his timer is why it said that. I was like, they weren't that close. They were still only, though, they were only less than 4 minutes apart in their time. So considering how the RNG in this game works, incredible. So now let's watch the ending take 2. Final call for any awesome puns, guys. I have total and fantastic faith that you guys can do this. Yeah, now you can pay the other RNG games. Now, I'm a Final Fantasy IV runner. That's the community where I have all my experience. And we complain and talk a lot about the RNG there, but it's got nothing. Truly, it has nothing on this game. Oh, that's all. So it looks like everyone's streams are done. So no one seems to want to come in and talk to me, so as such, we are going to clue things up. So congratulations to both Mark and Tief for their fantastic runs. We will definitely see more of Mark in the single elimination, and I cannot tell you who is going to be racing next, even though I know there are more people to race, because they have not yet scheduled their matches. Races were supposed to finish this week, but we do technically have another week of races, so keep an eye on the schedule. There will be more stuff. And one last call on our runners. Please give them a follow. And I was just linked. I was just linked a moment ago, so I'm not going to link me again. Join us. Join us in the insanity, and we will see everyone again soon. Why, hello there. Turns out I think we're going to have an interview after all. Hello.
Hey, what a match.
I know, you did really good considering what the RNG was tossing at you.
I appreciate it. It was one of those games where it was either really bad or really good, and I wasn't quite sure how Mark was doing, but it definitely felt that way on my end.
Absolutely, and welcome. Mark is also here to join us too. So, hello.
All right.
So, how did both of you guys feel about your runs? Steve was just talking about how he wasn't feeling particularly good, and then where he didn't know where you were, what was happening with you. He just knew the RNG seemed bad on his side.
It was either extremely bad or extremely good, never in between.
It was exactly that.
Stupid Pazuzu.
Oh my god, that was... as soon as we were watching, we were like, okay, what floor is he gonna get? And then we're like, floor 2. And just as you were finding out floor 2, we found out Tief had floor 6. So, again, I don't know how much you guys were keeping an eye on each other, but for us as viewers, it was incredible, as much as it sucked for you, Mark.
I can't watch streams and stream at the same time because my computer isn't very good, so I'm pretty much in the dark until...
Yeah, so... You started kind of like pulling ahead. You had a 39-minute ice golem, and I came through at like 42, 41, 40. But yeah, you just kind of kept pulling off and pulling further ahead, and it kind of got boring during tree section. I could tell because everyone in chat was just making puns.
No, the tree section is kind of boring in general. It's just
that's true.
I get 2 worms?
One thing, if you guys do rewatch this race, please pay attention to the chat. I want to give huge props to everyone in chat. They were on the ball for like 3/4 of this your race with the most beautiful of puns for all the situations you guys were dealing with, no matter where you were or what you were fighting. They were truly inspired.
So you encourage it. You're the reason behind it, huh?
I didn't start it, but I will 100% agree to the fact that I definitely pushed them along to try and get some more. They were beautiful.
So I heard that you were pretty much ahead going into Doom Castle, and you got screwed over by Wyvern. What exactly happened there, Steve?
Okay, so I was like 2 or 3 fights ahead. Skullrus went pretty well. Black Stone Golem went pretty well. Wyvern, I can't remember exactly what happened. Oh, he crit once on Kaylee for 1500.
Oh god.
And then the other one was I can't remember what exactly it was. Like they paralyzed Ben, and they stoned Kaylee, and then they just kept doing that. I could never get him down to 1 head.
Yeah, I got saved mostly because I opted to get the Pansy Shield, but I had a really good Wyvern fight because he was just mostly spamming Parabreath, which doesn't do a lot of damage, but would paralyze you otherwise. And then Zoo, I think, was the fastest fight I've ever had with him. Like, he went down really fast.
I was crossing my fingers like, come on, Zoo, pull it out for me, just this one time.
Just a few turn 1 Doom dances.
Oh, and even on the monsters going up to Zoo, I kept getting wiped on those too.
Yeah, you had really bad monster luck, and you guys were both really lucky with the Zoo luck. I was really impressed. You both got him first try.
Yeah, I would have gotten wiped by a bunch of the monsters going up to Zoo too as well if I didn't get the shield.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what happened there. I know I commentated what I think I saw, but...
Well, I like getting the Aegis shield because it blocks, I believe, Paralyze and Stone.
Oh, so did you actually get it on purpose?
Yes, I pretty much always get it.
That's okay. I usually get it too, but usually I take a different staircase to go and get it. So that's why I thought you had missed it, so that it looked like you had accidentally gone down that way. But no, that makes sense. I know I purposely get it as well because while it is a time loss, just the amount of help it gives on the way up is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and in a race like this, I'd take the like minute and a half-ish off if it means consistently, because you can go up to mostly Zoo's room is the worst, and just things will spam Doom, things will spam Stone, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the shield helps negate that stupidity.
Yeah, absolutely.
In retrospect, I really should have gone for 2 because I was a little bit ahead. But I was just like, oh no, it's really close. And if Mark doesn't go for it, then, good luck, because you're kind of like consistently doing the little things better. Or you're just getting luckier, one of the two. So I was concerned that you were going to keep pulling ahead if I didn't, try to maintain my lead as much as I could.
I'm just glad I remembered to use Blizzard on the ninjas. That's my favorite thing about that area, is just blizzarding those things, because it's the best animation in the game.
So, I was going to say, Mark, are you excited, worried, anything now that you are moving on to the single elimination?
I'm nervous, not going to lie.
That's fair.
I'm pretty nervous before every race.
I find the same. I'm sure you're going to do excellent in there, but it will definitely be interesting to see what happens there. So definitely wishing you luck for that. And unless you guys have anything else to say, I think we'll probably cut it here.
I do have one thing to say.
Okay, absolutely.
Like yesterday, I got knocked out of Tuso Grande, and today I got knocked out of this tournament, but both of them, it's one of those things where it's actually really kind of nice to get knocked out of them, because one, I don't have to play these games anymore. But another is because it's really nice to lose in a tournament in a glorious fashion.
Absolutely.
And that was the case with both Tuso Grande and with this one. It was a really good race, Mark, and I had fun doing it, and I think everyone else enjoyed watching it too.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it, because it seems like it was really close. And
oh, you definitely do.
That's the one thing I find really interesting about this game, is the races usually tend to be pretty close, despite the fact that it's this huge RNG nonsense game.
And I find a lot of the time the RNG nonsense game helps with that, as it did for you guys. So, yeah, it was definitely really good. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you both. Me and Tief are going to go relax now and not play these games. And Mark, we definitely wish you luck on your upcoming matches.
Thank you.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.